In the world of The Walking Dead, starting from Season 1 onward, since those early zombies were real terrors at the beginning, the undead are typically slow and sluggish beings, or walkers as they're called in the series. And I'm certain most viewers of this video are familiar with how the tale kicks off. Rick emerges from his coma to discover society in total chaos. But how exactly did this unfold? How did these lumbering monsters manage to topple what was arguably the planet's most powerful armed forces? Well, today we're diving into that very question. This is how the military collapsed in the universe of The Walking Dead. If this blew your mind, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button so more people see it. Smash subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. And turn on the bell because the next video, it's going to change the way you see the future. The Outbreak, a brief note before we dive in properly. I'll only cover the TV show's military, not the comics. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. The military in The Walking Dead mirrors real life, consisting of 5 branches: the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Based on lines from various characters in the TV world, to put it simply, the armed forces were eventually overwhelmed by the massive hordes of the undead. But let's examine their response in the early stages. The flagship series skips over much of the initial outbreak, but Fear the Walking Dead fills in the gaps. As police forces got swamped, a presidential directive apparently declared an emergency when it was clear FEMA couldn't cope alone. The U.S. military answered FEMA's calls and intervened to assist. The military's first approach was to relocate and safeguard as many people as feasible, directing them to assigned safe areas or big urban centers with relief stations and shelters. But looking back, we see what a deadly error this proved to be. We're talking about the wildfire virus here, a pathogen believed to have started in France that revives the dead, driving them to assault living things to propagate a follow-up infection. It spreads initially via airborne means, turning hosts into silent carriers who show no signs until they die. But it can also transmit through bites or scratches from the reanimated, leading to sickness and death in about 48 hours, followed by turning into a walker. So cramming folks into cities like packed cans went as disastrously as you'd imagine. Deaths occurred everywhere, leading to reanimations that infected dozens, perhaps hundreds more. This sparked huge exoduses from cities, jamming all highways in and out. It was utter pandemonium, and troops were cleared to use lethal force to restore order. This led to key cities and routes being bombarded or razed by aircraft, choppers, and ground troops shooting at any civilians, infected or not. Naturally, this caused huge death tolls that rose again to cause more destruction in urban areas. And this played out across much of the US, as far as we know. But before delving deeper into the collapse, let's explore these military safe zones and their locations. Again, Fear the Walking Dead provides more details, though one appears in the main show's pilot. King County, Georgia. These safe zones, in heavy quotes, were created to handle civilians and reclaim urban sections. Yet many were ditched, either by command or necessity. We might never learn why. It appears the King County zone initially succeeded in controlling walkers, with wrapped bodies in the hospital's loading area indicating they took zero risks. Still, the Army suffered heavy losses from the undead surge and chose to withdraw. Infected individuals or those near them were shot without question in hospital corridors, as seen by Shane Walsh while trying to move an unconscious Rick to safety. Atlanta seemed a key defense point due to the CDC, featured in Season 1's episodes 5 and 6. But Fear the Walking Dead gives the best insight into safe zones. Following the Clark family in Los Angeles, we see that 9 days post-Monument Day, realizing saving all was impossible, the National Guard ditched most of the city and focused on defensible spots, establishing 12 fence-safe zones. These were areas for basic aid and protection, plus military setups like the hospital at Raynard Community College. Those refusing evacuation fled the city, died from infection, or were outright killed by guards over virus exposure risks. These zones look promising at first. In Fear, Sergeant Moyers assures civilians they're advancing against the dead. But exhaustion, sleep deprivation, and dwindling supplies hit the troops hard. battling a tireless foe. As infected numbers swelled and personnel dropped from desertions, fatalities, or bites, the military turned to Operation Cobalt, pulling out all forces from big cities. Operation Cobalt, aka the Sunset Protocol, was the Defense Department's plan executed by the U.S. military to curb the wildfire virus. It kicked off in the wee hours of August 28, 2010, after society's breakdown. But with the virus's rapid grip, troops didn't fully grasp the threat, and the seemingly functional safe zones were forsaken. The military fell into a chaotic pullback, hastening the Army's breakdown. Final commands went to nuclear subs, granting them power to nuke heavily infected regions. Operation Cobalt aimed to eliminate the undead by napalming major cities nationwide, with nukes also planned. But these weren't executed, as subs were either deserted or overrun. So what was Operation Cobalt's result? A colossal flop, with safe zones overrun, bases wrecked, and vast troop and gear losses. While the plan did reduce infected in spots, it couldn't stop the virus entirely. Many undead were wiped out via Cobalt, but countless remained, and the op created more issues than fixes. Per a park ranger's broadcast from Shasta Peak, Yosemite's forests and the Sierra Nevada were ablaze, possibly doomed in weeks. Post-fall of California and states west of the Continental Divide, the National Guard basically took over from regular forces. This likely explains the abandoned 7th Cavalry Chopper near Rick's Hospital. After Cobalt, the U.S. Army scattered quickly as containment failed and desertion surged. It's unclear if the Navy had a specific Cobalt role, but soon after LA's outbreak, all naval fleets and carriers were probably recalled home. A fun aside, weeks after Cobalt, broadcasts spread rumors of Operation Noah, blaming the government for the virus as a botched population control scheme. But these are just wild theories. In essence, they torched cities, slaughtering most survivors and boosting walker counts. Cobalt wiped out most urban centers, as revealed by Okafor in The Ones Who Live, except Philadelphia, where he and pilots refused to destroy another city. Okafor defected to a Pennsylvania National Guard base and bombed Lincoln Financial Field, where Marines planned to relocate post-bombings. Okafor's strike killed 4,000 Marines, but let the Guard spare Philadelphia from military or undead ruin. Thus, it became the Civic Republic of Philadelphia, or CRM, and Okafor rose to lieutenant colonel in the Civic Republic military, born from the Pennsylvania National Guard. Conclusion to wrap up, the military in the Walking Dead TV world crumbled from sheer ignorance. They didn't understand the enemy. People turned in minutes or hours. Everyone was unknowingly infected. No cure existed. No one was immune, and knowledge was zilch. Despite tanks, jets, and might, the military was built for structured battles, not an unending, infectious foe that never rests. They funneled people into dense spots, worsening the outbreak. By safe zone setup, irreparable harm was done. Command chains frayed, troops fled posts, and walkers multiplied. The death blow was Operation Cobalt, withdrawing soldiers in a frantic control grab, but it stretched resources thin with no guidance beyond urban evacuation. In the end, the undead defeated Earth's top military through endless hordes and bad leadership calls. The Civic Republic proves avoiding city bombings and methodically clearing walkers while containing the virus was wiser, as it preserved Philadelphia and underscored Cobalt's disaster. The U.S. military didn't lose in one clash. It gradually dissolved like society itself. That's how the mightiest force fell to those sluggish walkers. Anyway, thanks for tuning into today's video. I hope you like this fresh take, as the military's downfall in The Walking Dead has always intrigued me. I'd love more details someday, like Frank Darabont once envisioned for the main series. If you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe. See you next time. Take care.